this video, we'll be doing intersecting seams. This is anywhere the two seams intersect. So on a garment, that would be under the arm or the crotch seam. To start off, you'll need 4 pieces of fabric, 4" by 4". You'll put 2 of these sets together, right sides together, and you'll sew a 1/2" seam allowance just across one side. Okay, once I have my seams sewn, I've pressed out, first I pressed out my seam allowance, and then I just pushed it to one side. And then on the other piece that I sewed together, I pressed my seams out, and then I pushed my seam allowance to the opposite side. Now, where these seams are going to meet, I'm just going to mark where they're going to meet on my fabric. So I've got a 1/2" seam allowance, so I'm just going to mark, oh, they meet right here, 1/2" in. On this one, right here. Okay. Now, I want to pin these right sides together. But I want to be sure and pin them exactly where that intersection is. So I'll take my pin, I'll just stick it right through my 1/2" mark. And then on the other side, I want to make sure that I get right at that 1/2" mark. Okay. I will pin those together. The next thing I want to do, I'm going to throw a couple more pins in. Okay. Now I can take that pin out where my intersection is, and I just want to hand stitch where that intersection is. I want to hold that in place because your fabric is going to want to move when you start sewing this. So if you have just a couple of stitches right there, and I didn't even tie the end of this in a knot, I'm just going to do a couple of stitches just right where that intersection is. And I can just hand tie this in a knot and pull it out later. That's going to hold it better than that pin will. All right, now I'm ready to stitch. I'm going to do a 1/2" seam allowance all the way across. And I like to have my seam allowance pressed in opposite directions so it'll lay nice and flat when I sew over it. Okay, I'm all ready to sew. Half-inch seam allowance. Make sure you sew right over that intersecting point. All right, so then all 4 corners meet precisely in the center. And of course, you know, go back, press everything, and make sure it looks nice and neat. And that is how to do an intersecting seam.